We're back.
We're back. We're back. We're actually back.
It's like we never left.
We never left.
It's like we never left. Your hearts and your mind.
We're scrambling. We're scrambling to get this. We're scrambling to stay consistent.
Don't tell them how the sausage is made.
I'm telling them.
Don't tell them.
Okay, let's do the intro.
Okay.
Welcome to LinkedOut. Welcome to LinkedOut, the podcast that won't help you get a job, but will make you feel better about not having one. Because if we're not being honest, then what are we even here for?
No, we're always going to be honest. We're always going to be honest. There's no reason not to be. We've built this brand on pure, unfiltered honesty, I guess.
That's one pure and unfiltered.
That's one of the things.
We don't lie to our listeners. We only lie to people we're interviewing with
for
at
jobs with. Yes,
but we don't lie to you.
Yeah.
So
you heard it here first.
Okay, if this week was a subject line of a rejection email, what would it be?
Something about exaggerating the numbers. Something
cooking the books.
That's it.
I think they call it
we're
cooking the books.
Cooking the books. Oh my God, this cat is dangerously close to stepping on the keyboard.
We have a studio cat.
We don't always have a studio cat, but we do tonight.
I just changed her name to DJ Dirtbike because she scratches the shit out of us.
And she's a dirty little cat.
And she's a dirty little cat.
She's a good little cat, though. Yeah. She's rough and tumble.
So kind of like us, she's resilient.
She is.
She doesn't have a job.
She only ever exists in this room.
And we're only
like
90% sure she's a female.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That part's not like us. That's different.
Oh,
What's happening? We're in it. We got our heads in the game. So I guess, we've been having a lot of Discord on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
This week. Do you want to share some of your top highlights?
Well, from LinkedIn this week? I would say, my highlights were probably a few more fans or outies as well. We're still auditioning that, but yeah, some new listeners to the pod. So like that's always really cool to get those messages, and we genuinely appreciate.
I will tell you the way it like makes my week when somebody DMs me on LinkedIn telling me that they listen to the podcast. It really is almost, it's even, it's better than getting a job interview for sure. It's better than like, it really it's a real pick me up,
Yeah.
with all the shit that we endure on the day to day.
I get excited when I see that little message notification when I open LinkedIn. I'm like, ooh, who's messaging me on LinkedIn? It always feels important. So that's a fun place to communicate. Now, also, I think, oh my God.
The cat is like,
oh my God.
The cat is on.
He's pushing the microphone closer to me.
Oh man, I was like, Sydney was like, let's get the cat out of the room. And I was like, just let him stay.
You're like, he's not going to mess it up. Here he is messing it up.
Oh my God, if you could hear the purring of this cat into the microphone.
They might be able to.
It's supposed to be, purring is supposed to be like, have like soothing energy. So just, if you can hear this cat purring, take a deep breath for a second. Just take it in.
Cat ASMR.
Breathe in, breathe out, relax.
Okay, so back to LinkedIn.
Okay.
We did figure out too, I think that, we talked about this a little bit last week, but we figured out that obviously, maybe this is like super obvious, but for the purposes of like letting people know about this podcast, our audience is a lot of the people on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people talking about this stuff on LinkedIn too. Obviously, there's people talking in other places too, but it's just kind of interesting. I think I never thought that making a podcast that's like about ripping LinkedIn would end with me being on LinkedIn as much as I have been, just trying to get people, to know about the podcast, and also just like it being a part of conversations
like relating with people on, like, that's where you find community, is on the shitty app that's not getting you a job, because everybody else is equally as frustrated as you are. And you can write a post about how frustrated you are and have 500 people show up, and, it makes you not feel.
Your posts are still doing numbers on LinkedIn. It's kind of crazy.
I'm really just burning it down, quite honestly.
I know.
I'm just like, hey, this is what's happening to me. And it took me like a long time to get to this point. Yeah. But I'm just like, yo, this is the reality of the situation. And also like some of the details and like ins and outs of like specific jobs that have screwed me over are even like I don't even tell it on the pod, because there's just a lot of like I'll just go through something on the pod. I'll be like, oh, this happened and that happened. But like I do like blog posts on LinkedIn where I'm just like, oh, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then exactly this happened. So it's like more of like a detailed timeline on like the fuckery that has happened to me from specific companies that have dangled the carrot in front of me for a job for the last 2 fucking years.
Yeah.
And it's still happening. So it's like I have plenty of content here.
Right.
But yes, I go into like more detailed like storytelling on, surprisingly, LinkedIn, my new blog.
Yeah. LinkedIn, my new blog. That's honestly a better platform for them for whatever they like claim to do.
Job blogs?
Yeah,
Blob blogs. Wait, what's that? What's that thing?
Bob blogs.
Blah blah blogs.
Brit kits something.
Well, we're workshopping
blog.
that.
Yeah, we're
too.
gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that. I didn't have it right off the top, but yeah, that's highlights for me for LinkedIn this week. I mean, I once again have not found any job traction on LinkedIn. I think, this is kind of funny. Last week, I think right before we recorded, or maybe right after, but
cat's on my lap now.
Yeah, now the cat's on Brit. I linked a recruiter messaged me, and then we set up a call, and then you know this because we were like,
we were here. Yeah,
he was supposed to call me, and then didn't call me like 2 hours later to tell me that the job like didn't exist already and was already like filled. And I was like, cool, like I don't give a fuck, but like thank you so much for like once again proving
our recruiter theory.
Proving our theories. Yeah, confirming our biases.
So like, yeah, I mean, that's pretty wild. And the other
I actually, and the funny thing about that guy too, and I forwarded you the email that I sent him, but I sent him an email before he even set up a call with me. Oh my God.
We gotta get the cat out of here.
The cat needs to go. He keeps moving the microphone. So I set up, or I emailed him.
Goalposts, this cat.
He is. He's one of them. I emailed him before he even like got my number and information and stuff, because I was like, I'm wise now. After talking to Gabe, I'm not like just handing out my shit to recruiters left and right. So I was like, okay, I'll email you. I'll play ball. But listen, here's my email. Don't fuck with me. Do not fuck with me, because I don't want to be fucked with. And by the way, I did a little Googling about your company. You guys fuck with people. So I really don't want that to be true for you, sir. So don't fuck with me. And
but
he was
guilty
like,
until proven innocent, buddy.
Yeah. And he was like, oh man, that's such a bummer that you've had a bad experience and stuff with recruiters or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'm having one now.
I'm having one right now.
As we cackle. I mean, for real, like, I guess this is a good segue into, like, like
Yeah.
well, yeah, so then I feel like you squeaky wheeled him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were like, yeah, I don't have good experiences with recruiters, and he was like, let me try to make it better for you.
Yeah, but then he called me 2 hours later to tell me that he didn't have a job for me.
But he did call you.
Super helpful.
which maybe if you didn't give him the third degree, he maybe wouldn't have called you at all.
He probably wouldn't have.
He was just like, oh, I better call this girl. She really hates recruiters.
I'm scared.
I'm scared
of her. Nobody has ever been afraid of me, unfortunately. I don't wield that power.
Thomas might be a little afraid.
Okay, fine. My husband is probably a little afraid of me.
Just a little.
That's about it.
People aren't afraid of Sydney. Me, on the other hand, people are terrified, and I like it.
I guess if this, you're the black cat of this duo, and I'm the golden retriever.
Stay scared. Be afraid. I've had like a boss tell me that they were afraid of me, and I thought that was like kind of low key an accomplishment.
Actually, is like I feel like that is a compliment.
Yeah, I got really drunk and was like, I'm a little afraid of you, and I was like, oh,
you're like good.
Thank you.
Good.
It was like when
That's
we used to have like
on
office
purpose.
Christmas parties before COVID. It was like, I mean, like I'm a little afraid of you, and I was like, okay, all right, and I was like, rah, get him. But hey, I'm just down to business, okay? And sometimes people, I'm just down to business, no exclamation points, and sometimes people don't really like that.
Yeah,
I'm more of a period.
I feel like you're a real joker, but I guess I could see.
I
that.
am, but sometimes it's pretty dry.
Yeah,
So sometimes
that's fair.
Sometimes when I'm joking, people just think I'm being an asshole, and sometimes when I'm serious, they think I'm being sarcastic. It's a little, it's sometimes it's dry, and I'm not like always a jokester. I'm mostly, I don't know, I'm mostly just a this is what's happening kind of person in the workplace.
Yeah.
But I will make fun of you. Don't get me wrong. We'll roast the shit out of you, but I have to wait until, I've been there for at least 2 weeks. I won't do it in the first week, you guys. Don't worry. Got to get to know you first.
Yeah. That's when that's actually
I will
good.
roast you, and it's only men, and it's only it's only specific types of men that try to overly explain shit to me or think that they have some sort of fucking insight.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
Speaking of men who think they have a lot of insight, should we get
Well, actually, I guess I wanted to
Sorry.
No, I guess I wanted to talk about the recruiter post really quick. Because I think that's a little bit interesting.
Let's talk about it.
So a recruiter on LinkedIn, who ghosted me literally a couple days before, and has since this guy ghosted me twice. And I don't give a shit, but I don't give a shit because it happens all the fucking time. We know this, but he writes this long blog post about how the reason he's so successful is because he doesn't ghost candidates.
Wow.
And I'm like contemplating leaving a comment under it that was like, well, how do you feel about ghosting people twice? But I didn't write that. Instead, I just go to my personal page and just write, a recruiter who ghosted me, a recruiter who ghosted me just wrote a long ass blog post about how you shouldn't ghost candidates. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So whatever, I step away from LinkedIn, doing other stuff. I come back, I open my page, and there are 4 recruiters in my fucking DMs. 4 of them.
All wondering if it was them.
Well, no. One person was wondering, one person that it wasn't was wondering if it was them. And like, because, you know, obviously they didn't all make blog
If you
posts.
have to ask. Right.
But like, you know, this one specific recruiter was like, is this about me? And I was like, no, it's not. And they were like, who is it about? And I was like, I don't really want to name names. And then the recruiter who it was about slid into my DMs just as if we had been talking the whole time. Like, they were just like, oh, hey, sorry I didn't get back to you about this job 2 weeks ago, but like,
that's so awkward.
We don't really have anything, and they didn't really get back to me, so I'll let you know if we have anything else. Okay. Then that same recruiter pops in to the comments.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I just thought it was interesting. And then a few other recruiters came into my DMs, and they were like, oh, hey, like, haven't spoken to you in a while. This is the thing. I am going to change my fucking profile to squeaky fucking wheel, because these people get all of my info, have me do phone calls with them, and then I never hear from them until I write a fucking shitty post on the shitty app. And then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, we lost touch. That's so fucking weird. And it's just like, I don't really... I'm not trying to shade. I'm honestly, it sounds like I am, but I'm not specifically trying to shade.
Okay, I think I know which person it is. I know which
You
person
do.
it is.
It is that person.
I've never worked with this person either, but I did see the blog post that you're talking about like not ghosting employees and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Or candidates, whatever.
Which is fine. Like, I understand. I'm not a monster. I'm not like trying to put anyone on blast here.
Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that part out anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not trying to put anyone on blast. It's just like, I find it funny, these like forward facing personas, and just to be blatantly like so adamant about not doing a thing that you did to a person. I can't be the only person that you've ever ghosted.
But like it's the self-awareness for me, because obviously this person doesn't have any self-awareness. Like,
no, but then they were self-aware enough to pop into the comments.
No, but they just kept messaging you as if nothing had happened.
Right, but then they left a comment under. I don't know.
That's weird.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to shade. Like, yeah, like,
you know what makes LinkedIn so weird compared to any other like platform where you can like have social interaction with people is like, you first of all, they're not fully strangers, because they're people that you've either worked with or connected with over something related to work, or like a friend of a friend or something like that. But it's not fully strangers like on the internet, like on Reddit or something. Like when you post something on Reddit and someone comments, it's like, you don't have any idea who these people are. Right, there's like a less anonymity, and it's not as familiar as like, you know, a Facebook or something like that. It's like this weird in between, like kind of strangers, kind of people that you've worked with, or
they know someone. Everybody knows someone you worked with, right?
Yeah.
It's like 6 degrees of you worked with that person.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely, it's not super anonymous, and all of
it's not.
Your full name is on there.
Yeah.
It's not just like some cutesy like too liberate to quit, which is like my
exactly
social media names. It's like my full name is on LinkedIn.
And like all of your places that you've worked and everything like that. Like, yeah, just like everybody else. But I think that's what makes it as a social media platform. Now I'm fully just calling it that because that's what it is. It's not anything other than a social media platform at this point. But that's what makes it like so weird. And I think that's what makes the energy on LinkedIn so weird too, is because people are like obviously posturing as like experts in whatever they do, because they're like, their audience is like potentially people who would employ them,
who they think will employ them.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
Who they think, yeah.
And that's the other thing, is that like, I am fully, you guys know if you listen to this podcast or if you've ever spoken to me in person, like I truly, I truly wholeheartedly believe you cannot get a job on LinkedIn. With my full chest.
Yeah.
Like, I believe
There's
in my heart of hearts.
If there's one thing we believe, it's that you're not getting a job.
True.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like my burn it down mentality right now. And because again, I've had people come into my comments like, well, this isn't going to get you a job, because I'm telling like a detailed story of like some like bullshit that happened to me. And I really genuinely feel like I would rather like speak my truth and be honest and like relate with other people that are going through the same exact thing than like be like career facing.
Yeah.
Like put up a career facing front for jobs that literally do not.
These are the
exist.
two options for LinkedIn activity. Either you're on there like we are, just burning it down, just letting it rip, you know, or you've never been on it in your life. Those are the two options and there's nothing in between. And there's nothing in between.
Absolutely. Absolutely nothing in between. And that's what we believe. And you don't have to believe that, but that's just...
Those are, to me, those are the only choices.
Do your own research, make your own opinions.
Right.
You know, like...
Educate yourself.
Educate yourself. Like, don't just take our word for it. But when people come in to my comments and just say like, well, now you're really not getting a job. And I'm like, guess what? Like, I posted nothing. I only posted career front facing bullshit for like 2 years. And literally it got me nowhere. Even like the interviews that I bitch about, I did not get from LinkedIn.
Right.
I got none of those from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So none of the, 5 interview copy test bullshit jobs that I also didn't get. I haven't even gotten an interview from LinkedIn. So like, and people are coming in asking me if they can help me with my resume. Well, my resume gets me interviews. I don't think you like working on my resume is going to get me job, because I get, you get the interview with the resume.
Right.
So like,
so if the job is ever even real in the first place,
if
then
the job's real, I mean, like, I don't know, but that's just where we're at. Just for everybody that thinks, oh shit, I probably shouldn't be like honest about what is actually going on in my job search on LinkedIn, because I don't want potential employers to see it and think that I'm dramatic or they can't hire me. Don't worry, they won't.
Don't worry, because they won't anyway.
They won't anyway.
It doesn't matter.
I just I am happy to connect again with my community of creatives that are also going through the same thing, and it definitely makes you not feel as alone when you throw out, this is what's happening to me, and everyone's like, me fucking too.
Yeah. So
that's nice. So I'd rather that than the no jobs LinkedIn's giving me. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah. And I mean, since LinkedIn has become basically fully social media, there's people
For
who,
us.
yeah. And a lot of people, though, I was going to say, there's people who have like 10,000 followers and more and stuff on LinkedIn, 20,000 followers and stuff like that. That's something that, maybe we're aspiring to, and not like really, but like whatever.
If we turn into
LinkedIn influencers.
LinkedIn influencers. By talking about how much we hate the app, that would be so fucking funny.
Comedy. That would be
irony.
The irony. Yeah.
But who knows how to do that?
I don't know. There's some people that know how to do that.
I mean, there's the people that did it.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I don't know.
I think we probably have
just
to
keep
start
ranting and raving. We'll see what happens.
Keep ranting and raving. Let's see where this goes. So moving on to our next topic. If we were
Look
done
at
talking
you.
about LinkedIn.
No, we're done. But I just love you taking command of this episode.
Taking command.
Taking command. She's like, moving on to the next topic. Got my note cards. I'm ready to go.
I got my note cards. Actually, my computer is fully
Did you get your
charged
Adderall?
today.
That might be what's going
on. I
on.
did.
Okay.
I did get it.
This is a new Brittany.
Oh my gosh. I'm like... I'm like, guess whose computer's fully charged? I usually, for just a little bit of context,
She always comes with it dead.
I come here with a dead computer and phone, even though I need to like read stuff on the computer and phone sometimes for the podcast. So Sid's like, wait, or sometimes we have to film on our phone and it's dead. So Sid's like, oh, there's no chargers around here. I would have brought my charger. I'm like you didn't know I was going to come in here with dead electronic devices.
But I should by now. I should know. I should know. I don't know. And
then I go on a rant, and then Sydney says, "We're moving on now."
Then I try to find a sort of natural segue, but oftentimes not.
It's mostly just we can't talk about this anymore.
That happens too.
Let's fucking go. Brittany.
Wrap it up.
I know you're passionate.
I know you'll talk about this all night if I let you.
Absolutely.
Okay,
so moving on. We did receive, so we have this really lovely listener. Her name is Jessica, and she emailed us to talk to us about how she loved our podcast and how it was like helping her during this time, which really, again, like lifted our spirits. Like we love that shit. You know, thank you, Jessica.
I literally started crying when I read her email. I was like tearing up because I was like, oh my God, this is so sweet. Like this is just so touching that like that the stupid us yapping back and forth is like, I want it to be meaningful to people, but you never know you never know if it actually is until someone tells you. And it's just so nice to hear that. I need words of affirmation, you know?
Yes.
I like that. That's my
love so nice.
language.
And she told us that she turned her friend onto this podcast, and her friend is a mom and she cleans her house while the baby's at daycare, listening to our podcast. And
shout out to her.
And she said they have a similar dynamic as Sid and I. And it was just so nice. Yeah. She was like, it reminds me of my friend and I was like, this is everything. Really. And so, she kind of mentioned that she has a lot of job horror stories, as do we all. And we asked her if she would send us one of them. And I want to read it.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
This is what I've been wanting to do.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we're doing this. Okay.
So Sydney has not read this story. So I kind of
intentionally.
Intentionally, yes. So I kind of like wrote out the bullet points and to make it a little more palatable for a podcast setting. And so we're going to talk about Jessica's personal experience. So Jessica works in sales, and she submitted about 50 resumes in a week, as one does. Pretty typical stuff in today's job market. It's crazy that that's typical, but here we are. So she submitted directly to companies' websites. Because she's smart and maybe she knows LinkedIn.
She ain't no chump.
Yeah.
Jessica ain't no chump.
So of these 50 applicants, she spent time out of her life doing. She received one interview out of these 50 applicants. Okay. How exciting, right? You know, like when you finally land. The one interview that you allow yourself to feel hopeful. 1 in 50
is not bad odds in these times.
That's pretty good.
Honestly.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's good. So, when you land the job interview and you allow yourself to feel hopeful for a moment before you get ghosted or screwed after the interview process. So let's
fleeting feeling.
Let's live in this excitement for a moment of the job interview. So she gets the interview, she gets the date, and she's pumped. She's like, wow, I finally got an interview. This is so exciting. And I'm feeling the excitement. We all know this feeling, right? So she researches the job as one does and finds out that it's a B2B sales for an actual tangible product. One of the few sales jobs today that's not like tech or tech adjacent. So being that Jessica is a highly qualified candidate, she has sales and sales management experience. And quite frankly, this B2B presenting niche product company would be very lucky to have her. She's doing her research. She's taking the time before the interview to like prepare as one does. how are you feeling so far?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I feel good.
Good about this interview.
I mean,
Jessica's done adequate research.
I believe I know now. I read something else that Jessica wrote. I know that she's very smart. I mean, I wouldn't have to know that just based on this too. But yeah, you know, unfortunately, I do already kind of know where it's going, but let's just keep going.
Just keep going. Let's live in the positive for just one more minute before it all comes crashing down. So, okay, it's the day of the interview. She gets there early because we've already established Jessica's a model employee. She is watching people funnel in, and she's counting each person as they arrive. To her surprise, there's 40 plus applicants.
That's
here.
Insane.
40.
Never been in a room with 40 other people for a job. And I mean, I don't even think actors doing auditions have to sit with that many other people doing before. Like 40 other people is crazy.
That's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah, I would just leave probably if at that point. I would probably just been like, I'm going to not do this, whatever.
At least on LinkedIn when you apply,
you don't see all the other people.
100 other applicants have applied, but you don't have to see the 100 people in a room.
Imagine if you did have to see them in a room.
If they were all just like in a room.
Dude, that's a Black Mirror episode.
That is a Black Mirror episode for sure. So she's thinking maybe they're not all here for the same role. Maybe there's she's wishful thinking, which I would be wishful thinking too. If I was in a room with that many people, I would be trying to hype myself up, being like, okay, maybe there's a bunch of different jobs.
Yeah, sure.
So wishful thinking, nope, everyone was invited into the same room.
Yikes.
The interview explained that they had hundreds of applicants. No shit, you have hundreds of applicants. And everyone's out of work. We've been on LinkedIn. We know there's hundreds of applicants.
Right.
We see the hundreds of applicants.
We know.
700
people applied to this job 2 hours ago. It's
2 hours ago. And so the interviewer didn't have time to look into each candidate individually. So he just told everyone to come to the interview.
Yeah.
Instead of researching, which is a very it's a very dick interview move, and lots of people giving interviews do this. They're just like, I'm sorry, it's like when you used to do interviews back in the day when you would bring your fucking resume, and they would be like, you would email it to them, and some people want you to print your resume out, like that guy who was like, they told me to print my resume out, so I left. I'm like, why didn't you look? I emailed it to you.
It's a numbers game, though.
It's a numbers game.
And we know for a fact that that's the case here. Let's keep going.
Okay, so yeah, you don't have time to look at your candidates. Everybody took time filling out your fucking application. Fuck you. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, so he began this meeting by playing a motivational Tony Robbins video. He just played a Tony Robbins video. Remember that guy?
Yes. He's still around.
He's still alive.
Oh my God, yeah. And he's still making stupid money on people. Yeah. I heard a story about him recently.
Oh my God.
Anthony Robbins. The same guy, right? Tony? Anthony, I would assume.
I don't know.
Tony's a nickname.
Why would he go by Anthony, though? Everyone knows him as Tony.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Well, come on.
We'll fact check. Okay, so he plays this motivational Tony Robbins video, and then he plays an Arnold Schwarzenegger video. And I don't really have full details on the Arnold Schwarzenegger video, but I want them.
Me too.
I want to know which, I want it so badly to just be an Arnold Schwarzenegger workout video.
Yeah.
Because he had a lot of those.
Yeah, he did. And he had a whole,
pump you up.
Yeah. He had a whole documentary about when he was into bodybuilding. That's the only Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I guess I've ever seen. I mean, no, I've seen him in movies, I guess, but
you've never seen
No, I'm saying
Twins?
Yeah.
Junior? Those are the only two.
Twins. Twins is so good. Danny
Junior's pretty
DeVito
good.
is like one of the only celebrities I've seen at like a restaurant and been like, oh my God.
What?
It was amazing.
That's
there
insane.
with Rhea, his wife, who's also very short. Anyways, I digress.
Wait, how long ago was that? They're divorced.
This was a while ago.
They
This
didn't
would have
make
been
it.
like 5 or 6 years ago at least.
Maybe they got back together.
I don't know.
Anyway,
they have kids. Anyway,
they do. Yeah. So now we're in trouble. We just had an Arnold Schwarzenegger video. Things are starting.
I know for me, I would
starting to crack.
Yeah, I know for me, if I were sitting in this room still, which by the way, I already said I wouldn't be, but if I had been still sitting in the room and this was happening, I would have been crying, laughing because I would have been like, what the fuck is about to happen? Let's continue though. Let's continue.
I'm like thinking of like the most like ridiculous thing you could do in this room. And all I keep, I would never do this, but like all my brain keeps going to is like, just like ripping off my shirt and like running out of the room, like just yelling like I don't know, or just like standing on a chair and just like scream. I don't know, just like something disruptive.
Yeah,
I'm like trying to think.
I'm also picturing them showing this movie or videos, whatever they're showing the two things. I'm picturing them for some reason on like one of those like carts.
Yes, me too.
With a big TV on it,
absolutely.
Like strapped on. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm like picturing it as that.
It's like in my mind, it's like a small TV, but it's like on wheels, and they just like definitely wheeled it in. It's like an old TV. It's a VHS tape,
like a shitty old TV
for sure.
Yeah.
These are the only two movies that this interviewer owns.
Jessica, you'll have to confirm these details.
And they come from these are movies from this interviewer's personal collection.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I want to play them these things.
Icebreaker, I guess.
So, you know, then he spoke about the product and described how the pay and commission only, how the pay would work. So the pay would be commission only, and reps would complete a handful of warm leads to provide by the company
Here we
daily.
go. Here's where stuff starts to unravel.
Jessica's doing the math in her head. She deduces that if a single participant was given all the daily leads, and everyone was a buyer, they would walk away with $170 in commission. At the same time, the guy conducting the interview would get about an extra $340. Not to mention, the handful of leads were split between 10 applicants that the company would eventually onboard. So, what does it sound like? What does it sound like to you?
Sounds like a horizontal line.
Does it maybe sound a little bit like a pyramid?
It sounds a little more like a pyramid where one person is at the top.
So yes, it's a damn MLM. So I know it's an MLM. You know it's an MLM. Jessica knows it's an MLM.
Poor Jessica, though.
But unfortunately, it seemed like the other 40 people in the room didn't know it was an MLM because none of them got up to leave, which I find like I just find that completely insane.
No, but can I tell you something? They, regardless of whether or not they knew, they might have been like that desperate for a job,
right? Yes, and like you know,
so they're just like fuck it,
yeah,
fuck
definitely,
fuck it.
So like,
dying to know what the product.
What would you do if you accidentally got roped into an MLM?
I would probably want to. So, like I said, if I had even made it this far, which like I probably wouldn't have, because I would have been freaked out by the sheer volume of people there. But if I had made it this far, if I'd been as brave as Jessica, I might actually like want to see how far I could go with it, just for like the story, you know?
Yeah, for the plot.
For the plot, exactly.
So like that's kind of like I was thinking about that.
I'd be dying to. I mean, but the thing is, the all of those you end up spending your own money,
right?
So it's like it doesn't ever. You always end up having to spend your own money. So you have to either buy the products and stuff, like because the makeup ones, you know, or you have to like go to, you know, sales conferences, things like that. They make people. You will go broke trying to do.
Definitely,
that's the biggest problem.
That's a problem.
They bleed the people in the like pyramid dry. because you always have to get other people to do it, or else you're gonna have to pay out the money somehow. You know what I mean? So it's like that part of it is like, I would not want to do that part, obviously, because I'm not trying to go broke for some.
I'm already broke.
Oils or whatever it is. Yeah, I'm already broke. I don't need
crazy.
to go more broke.
It's crazy. You think I have MLM money? Thank you so much. But I was thinking about like maybe a few years ago, like I would have just walked out of the room. But today, I definitely would have made a scene. Like if I was in an MLM room. Tomorrow,
let's get you in one of these rooms then.
Tomorrow, I would have made a scene.
Yeah,
like I would have just been like, you guys, and you know, I don't know. I would have tried to revolutionize the room. Mm-hmm. I would have been like, who's coming with me?
I can see it.
I would have Jerry Maguired it.
Yes, I can see it.
I take the fucking VHS out of the VCR and I'm like, who's coming with me? And I take
yes. I can see it.
Like, Jessica's more polite than I am. And, you know, she, at this stage in my life, and she quietly is sitting there and thinking, why is nobody else doing the math? Like, were we all just this polite? The interviewer finally concluded the meeting by giving out his personal email.
Yeah.
And telling us to resend our resume, a photocopy of our ID, and 3 to 5 paragraphs describing your goals for this year and why we wanted to work at this specific company to achieve them.
God damn it.
Okay, Elon.
I hate it here. I fucking hate it here. I hate it so much, Brit. God, I hate it so much.
Jessica had successfully wasted an afternoon of her life on a pyramid scheme, but that was as far as it went for her. But think about all the other applicants that were so desperate for work that they sent.
Would love to know what
their email and driver's license.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe some of them knew it was a pyramid scheme. Maybe some of them didn't care. Either the fact that this interviewer is still sending out emails and packing a room full of people in 2025 is absolutely wild.
It is. Oh, God.
This is what it's like to be a job seeker in the current market.
Bleak.
So
at least if you're going to do a pyramid scheme, well, okay, I got to be careful what I say here, but
Sydney's like, buy my tapes.
No, yeah. Oh, I do have something though. That's perfect.
Sydney's like, this is a really good segue to introduce my new business venture.
I was gonna say, at least if you're gonna do a pyramid scheme, at least do one of the like fun ones where you get like, I don't know, like the beauty products or something. Like, don't do like a B2B. That one doesn't sound sexy at all.
Right.
Do one where you get to at least try some of the, even if it's shitty stuff. You know what I mean? At least like, I don't know. But also don't do a pyramid scheme. Obviously.
Don't do a pyramid scheme.
Don't do one.
But if you are going to do Sydney's new pyramid scheme, buy her tapes. I'm just kidding.
I need tapes. I need tapes. I know what I'm doing after those. I'm going home and making tapes. People still buy tapes, right?
Yeah, people buy. Well, yeah, no,
I thought so.
You have to buy something to play the tapes on,
right?
Which you buy from the pyramid scheme.
I gotcha. Brit's my business coach.
Hey, she's like, wait a minute, people buy tapes?
No,
they're not for that. They're just for decor.
Yeah.
These tapes, you can use them for coasters. You can play them in your new tape recorder. Anyway, okay, moving on.
I did watch the Bernie Madoff Ponzi. There was like a 3-part docuseries, 3 or 4-part docuseries about that. Blew my mind. I watched that at the beginning. I guess I watched it last year. But wow. Speaking of fraud and stuff, I guess, Is this a good time now? Well, for my segue, it's my segue. It's my turn, Brit.
Okay, yeah. But okay. I just wanted to say thank you, Jessica, for sharing that horrific experience with us. We feel closer to you, and hang in there, babe.
Yeah, babe. We feel closer to you. And if anybody else has had any experiences like this that they want us to talk about, or at least, get off your chest, you know where to send them.
Yes, please. We want more
LinkedOut
of your
pod
work horror
at
stories,
Gmail.
And
we do.
You could you could make people feel better, you know, for in this bleak time by telling us about the terribleness that is out, because we've all been there and we want to commiserate.
We have, and we do. So this week obviously was and what continues to be a nightmare of the first month of the Trump presidency is the layoffs that are happening, the mass layoffs that are happening across the government bureaucracy. And I want to say, before I say much more about it, that like obviously there's like, our government is a huge unwieldy beast, and I'm sure, I don't doubt for any second, my dad worked for the government, that there is probably you know,
what does your dad think about it?
Well, so it's funny that you ask. What I was going to say is I don't disagree that there's probably some bloat. There's probably inefficiencies. Let's all just call that what it is. There probably is. There is in every organization. There's inefficiencies. But yeah, my dad actually came over today briefly because I needed him to like watch one of the babies while I picked up one of the other babies, and we talked about it a little bit. But what he said was like surprising, and like he's probably not going to listen to this, so I'm just going to call him out. But I think it's what a lot of people are saying is like, oh, well, he's just like running it like a business. And I'm like, yeah, but a business is different than a government. Like, they fundamentally serve different purposes. The purpose of the government isn't to be profitable.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That's not the purpose of it. And so we kind of got more into the weeds about like, what is the purpose of a government, like on like a philosophical level, because my dad loves to get like philosophical about things. And I'm like, well, you know, I think the purpose of the government is to provide like services and like infrastructure for its citizens. And like, he was like, not services. And I was like, everything is a service. I mean, everything can be boiled down to being called a service. Like, the Department of Justice provides a service. Right. Law enforcement is a service. Education is a service. Those are not, maybe service is not quite the right word, but in my mind, those are services and not. So anyway, we know, yes, these layoffs are happening en masse across the country. And by the way, 80% of government employees don't work in Washington, D.C. So people who are like, oh, it's like, although it's nobody, these people, hardly any of them work in Washington, D.C. They work all over the country.
No, this is like the CDC. This is like the FBI.
Yeah.
This is like, there's so many departments.
There's lots and lots and lots of departments.
There's some the parks department.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many. What were some of the other ones that, I mean, whatever. There's just a lot.
There's so many, and there's even really small ones too, whose job is like to like prevent. I was listening to some other podcast today, some NPR podcast actually, because you mentioned NPR had already gotten the scoop.
Yeah,
but I didn't hear that episode yet with a park ranger. We wanted to get a park ranger.
Yeah, we were trying to get a park ranger.
We don't know any freaking park rangers.
No park rangers on LinkedIn. Huh?
If you guys want anybody, whatever, I want to talk about that too in a second, but.
If anyone knows any park rangers or anyone that works for Parks and Rec, please send them our way. We would love to talk to them. We're dying to talk to them.
Yeah. And you know, this other podcast mentioned a lot of people don't want to talk because they're scared.
Right.
And I just want to say, like, they want you to be scared. They want everybody to be scared. It's in their best interest for you to be scared and submissive. And I get why people are scared. They want you to be scared. That's chaos. That's good. But we'll protect your anonymity. Like I always say, you know, if you want to just talk to us on the phone, you don't even have to come. We'll disguise your voice. Like, it doesn't matter. We want to talk to you. And if you don't want to go on record and if you don't want to use your voice or anything like that, there's all kinds of ways we can keep it anonymous. But yeah, I don't know. I came into that this morning, like very, I don't know, just feeling really like bad feelings, right. You know, just like not, I don't know that I would say I'm mad, sad or anything, but I'm just feel not good. I feel like I'm seeing something not good happening, and there's like, it just makes me feel, I don't know, some type of way, agitated, I guess. But yeah, I know it's just literally pulling you're fired, across the country to me is just like, how did we not see that coming?
No, we did.
Yeah, I guess some people definitely did, but thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah,
BK,
it's just,
what are your thoughts?
I'm not gonna. I'm sure you can deduce how I feel from just
who I am as a person.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get like so political, but and like go off onto like a rant, onto a rant. But I will say that your dad was like, he's running it like a business, and it's like, this is not like you said, it's not for profit. This is not supposed to be for profit.
That's not the point of it.
It's not the point of the government. It's not the
point of a government. Yeah.
It's not like, well, how much money can we make and how much land can we take? Like, that's,
right.
Whatever. There's so many more intricacies to the government than, and then just like, how much can we get? It's like, there's such like, there's so many lower
so this
tiers.
was interesting too, though. They've been reporting everyone was saying like they were reporting. By the way, you can't report one side of a ledger to know like how much money they've saved, but they're claiming they saved $55 billion. And in reality, I think the Wall Street Journal did it it's like closer to maybe two. Maybe two, not 55 billion, but maybe two. It's like way grossly overestimated, and it's just funny.
Well,
I think why I said
they
that.
Fired all those air traffic controllers because I'm supposed to get on a plane to Washington, D.C.
You guys should maybe take the train
Thursday.
Prayers, thoughts and prayers.
Concepts of them anyway.
Concepts of thoughts and prayers for you. I wish you well. But speaking of traveling, this is a fun thing that's happening. Sorry, let me change the tenor of this set. We went a little dark. Let's bring it back. Dark.
So, wrapping up that.
No, wait. Let me say. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, wrapping up, like we just, again, since we do talk about being unemployed, and so many people that work for the government are unemployed.
Yeah,
like our heart goes out to you, and welcome to the dark side.
Yes. Welcome to the outie side.
Outies. Welcome to the
layoffs layoffs are fucking scary.
They are scary, and it's like the layoffs of it all are so much harder than obviously just getting fired, because there's not like, we don't have a specific like reasoning for firing. Like, you weren't performing poorly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You're just a number on a spreadsheet.
And we don't feel like paying you anymore, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you could be doing the best job or the worst job and you could still get laid off.
Yeah.
Like, I've known incredible employees that have gotten laid off. I've known shitty employees that still have jobs at the same company. Like, you know what I mean? There's no like rhyme or reason for why
of course not.
People are getting like, are staying and going.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just like, it's maddening for people that like really like need to
devoted
know
their life to their career too.
You know? And it's like, oh my God, like I did everything right and I'm still fucked. So like,
ain't that some shit? Well, anyway, some shit. What I was gonna say is we're traveling.
Burn it all down.
Yeah, fuck
it. Go ahead.
We're traveling. A little bit of good news, a little bit of silver lining. We're traveling this next month. We got an exciting opportunity. We're gonna be in Tucson, Arizona, baby.
Hey.
We're gonna be in Tucson for the
Dust off your turquoise.
The 10 West. I will be dusting off my turquoise. And so this conference is called 10 West, and it's kind of like a mini. I keep calling it like a mini South by Southwest.
But for professionals, small businesses.
Yeah, more for like entrepreneurs, I guess.
Yes.
And they're in association with an organization called Startup Tucson. So I guess also startups. But anyway, what business do we have being there? Great question. Really none, but we will be there. We will be hosting a panel on Wednesday, March 26th, likely around 11 a.m., but we don't know for sure what time yet, but we'll be talking our shit. We will be doing kind of sort of like a live episode, but also talking with one of my business partners about lots of different things. A lot of advertising adjacent things probably, but we just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to be doing that. So that's exciting for us.
If you're in Tucson, stop by.
Yes.
If you live in Tucson and you're listening to this podcast, please get a drink with us.
Yes.
Because we'll be there, and we have merch. We're going to have tote bags. So we'll give you, we're working on shirts, but we won't have them ready in time. But if you, again, live in Tucson and want to go get a drink, we'll give you a tote bag, and
yeah,
we'll get a beer.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. And I also wanted to go ahead and plug, just since they're coming up really soon, we have 2 exciting guest episodes coming up.
Yes, I was going to segue the MLM story into our next guest, but then you really had something to say, so I just let it happen.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I
was like, she's good.
Let's run it back.
Okay, so speaking of MLMs,
15 minutes ago.
Speaking of MLMs, we have a very special guest joining us in 2 weeks' time, in a fortnight.
In a mere fortnight.
What's a fortnight? I think it's 2 weeks. I don't know, though. Don't fact check me on that.
I always thought it was 40 days. Is that not it?
I can pretty much guarantee you that's not it.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know.
Well, we're not going to look it up.
We're not going to look it up. We might look it up. But not now. Okay, so Ben Palmer is joining us in 2 weeks, and he is his social media handles are Palmer Trolls. And he does some pretty incredible undercover work infiltrating multi-level marketing schemes. He screen records all the disruption, so you can see how it goes down on his social media channels. We're going to be talking to him about sticking it to the man and how he basically made his own job for himself of trolling evil corporations. So he sometimes I've seen him do an MLM virtually where he screen records, and he has another person that he knows on the inside also in this, because they do digital group interviews for MLMs now.
Yeah.
And so
makes sense.
Go to his page. It's like very entertaining.
I want to say Ben Palmer is, I was trying to come up with this on the way here, your favorite comedian's favorite troll.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
to
He's
quote
like
Chapel Roan,
he's like
your
a
favorite
social...
artist. He's your favorite.
I want to say he's like a social justice disruptor.
Yeah.
Something. But yeah, he's a very funny comedian, and he does like live shows where he kind of like walks through. He's
definitely really good at making these people who don't want to look stupid. And so for that, we give him all of the applause.
Yes. And he only fucks with people that deserve it.
Right.
Is the thing.
Yes.
So like it's pretty inspirational, quite honestly.
It is.
Like he really like, he'll like,
it's also really funny.
He'll like, it's also really funny. And
really
he's so
funny.
deadpan about it. And I just like, he's a friend of the pod, friend of mine.
Friend of the pod.
And I'm so excited to like get into like his process. And again, like how he created his own like space and niche.
Yes.
And like basically like created his own job in this world and cut out his own, carved out his own niche.
Just being himself.
And like just elaborate, like the lengths he goes to like catch these people doing the wrong thing is pretty impressive.
He could have a TV show, honestly.
He could. He probably will. It's very Nathan for you.
It is. And it's also like how to catch a predator too.
Yeah.
But different. And then the next guest we have after Ben, just a few days after Ben actually, is a content creator and comedian who is really big on Instagram, but also dipping his toe into the LinkedIn waters as well. And his name is Joe Fenty. And yeah, he just does these really funny videos where he like talks about, you know, what it's like to be on LinkedIn, which is so weird. And also just like a lot of corporate type humor. And I love that. Yeah, I love that there's just not a ton of comedy at all on LinkedIn.
Right.
And I love that he's like,
because it's not supposed to be for that. But
right. I mean, it's not really, but people like it because like you're the one who said this. Like people are so starved for it on LinkedIn that like
definitely.
if you give them a little bit, they'll just lap it up.
Yeah. So like
they're like, ha 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 ha. That's very, very funny and true.
That's funny and relatable.
Yeah. But no, he is funny and relatable, and we're excited to talk to him.
Yeah, very funny comedian. I wanted to say workfluencer.
A workfluencer, yes. Brit coined that term.
But yeah, so we'll be talking to him the week after that, after Ben. So exciting things coming up. And if you want to check out both of these people's social media, please do so, because
give them a follow.
They're
Smash
super
that
funny.
follow.
Smash that follow. And I'm telling you, you'll have fun watching their videos. Again, super relatable, super cool stuff. So yeah. So exciting things on the horizon for LinkedOut.
March is looking good for us.
March is looking good. See, like we just want to. I feel like, you know, silver lining again. I think that like the job front is fucking dead in the water, but I think that like
that's done.
Sticking with
the jobs are dead.
Jobs are dead. But
jobs are dead.
Jobs
are dead.
But you know, sticking with your side hustle to keep yourself sane.
Yeah.
That's so 2025.
That's in for 2025 for sure.
So try it out. We're obviously still not, you know, this isn't obviously our full-time job, but we're hoping someday it maybe can be.
Yeah, we're working towards it.
Then we'll never have to look at LinkedIn again. But you know what? We're not going to forget where we came from.
That's true. We can't get too big for LinkedIn.
We're still gonna be on LinkedIn, but not because we're looking for jobs. We're gonna be ghosting recruiters left and right and ignoring emails from potential companies that want to hire us in the near future. Yeah. Hopefully, is what we're aspiring to be.
Love it.
But yeah, so anyway, that's what's going on with us.
That's this week. That's this week. That's today.
That's today.
That's it. We love you guys.
We love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us for another episode.
Play that outro.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, please give us a 5-star review. Email us at linkedoutpod@gmail.com and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky at linkedoutpod. Your support means everything, and we fucking love you. Mwah.
That was cute.
Bye, bestie.